Hey guys, and welcome to Pirate Hunter Traffy. In contrast to the other anime casts, One Piece and its enormous cast are particularly unique. Almost every single character in One Piece is important to the plot. Even characters who are shelved after an arc, particularly the villains, are likely to make a comeback later in the series. Fans hold Donquixote Doflamingo in high respect among the many antagonists in One Piece. After losing, Doflamingo was imprisoned in Impel Down, which has a reputation for being a very challenging place to escape from. Does Donquixote Doflamingo still have a role to play in the plot of One Piece now that he is imprisoned? It turns out that there are indications that he will soon break out of Impel Down. Yes, Doflamingo is coming back. Want to find out how? Stay tuned for the entire video so as not to miss a detail. History of Doflamingo Donquixote. Doflamingo was born into a noble family 41 years ago, and Rosinante was born 2 years later. When Doflamingo's father, Don Quixote Homing, renounced the celestial dragon status as world nobles to live everyday life with his family of 4, Homing was always regarded by his compatriots as blasphemous and disgraceful to the title of world nobles. He was evicted from such luxuries. The celestial dragons had only enjoyed their privileged lifestyle for 8 short years. Homing wanted to change Doflamingo's mentality since he was still holding onto his heritage by requesting that his father purchase more slaves and by expecting servitude from commoners. The family settled in a nation in the North Blue that is independent of the world government. The government provided a suitable manor and financial resources as a courtesy for the family. Homing desired to live a simple and peaceful life with his family among humans, far from Mary Joise's spoiling nature. However, he was unaware at the time that the island where they lived was home to many individuals who harbored bitter animosities toward the celestial dragons, which would later serve as a stepping stone in Doflamingo's descent into darkness. When the Don Quixote's family's past as world nobles was discovered soon after they arrived in the area, enraged celestial dragon victims set fire to their manor, forcing the family, much to Doflamingo's displeasure, to take refuge in a small hut in the junkyard. Homing, who was under continual surveillance, tried to call Mary Joise to ask for help in saving his wife and sons, but the celestial dragons just replied that the family could not change their decisions and coldly hung up. The 2 kids were beaten up when they tried to steal food, and they had to eat out of trash bins. Despite the fact that they brought some food for their mother, she passed away from an illness brought on by the miserable household, much to the sorrow of her family. As a result, the family was forced to live in poverty and on the run. The 3 surviving Don Quixote family members were eventually discovered, apprehended, tortured, and beaten before being hanged from a wall above flames. Doflamingo fiercely despised his father for subjecting the family to such a horrible life, while Homing and Rosinante pleaded for compassion. He then snarlingly vowed to kill all the commoners in retaliation. 2 years later, Doflamingo's agony finally reached a breaking point, awakening his Haoshoku Haki and rendering the populace unconscious. A wise 18-year-old named Treble, who saw this as the coming of his new king, gave Doflamingo a devil fruit and an elaborate flintlock. Doflamingo, who had a firearm at his disposal, murdered his own father, whom he despises for having doomed the family to an existence as outsiders. In an effort to resume his privileged life as a celestial dragon, the young boy then carried his father's head back to Mary Joise. Sadly for him, the nobles of the world already regarded the Don Quixote family as a family of traitors for mingling with commoners and refused to permit him to return. The world nobles attempted to murder Doflamingo, but were unsuccessful, and the former celestial dragon managed to flee after learning of Mary Joise's national treasure. Doflamingo turned into a pirate with the intention of exacting revenge on the world nobles who had rejected his request for reinstatement by destroying the world they ruled over. He gathered a variety of recruits who later evolved into the Don Quixote family, which he regarded as his new, treasured family. the Underworld, and Doflamingo. Later, he became the most well-known underworld broker until being kidnapped by the Marines. He was connected to many influential people, including the Yonko and members of the world government. Doflamingo completed numerous transactions which aided in his ascent. But how did Doflamingo escape the Marines' grasp? This was mostly as a result of the fact that he was a Shichibukai. The Shichibukai have been depicted exercising their position of power at various times during the series, including Crocodile in Alabasta, Boa Hancock defying instructions at Marineford, and Mihawk abandoning the facility after Shanks had arrived. No action was taken against the Shichibukai on any of these occasions. Doflamingo was thus free to carry about his business as usual in the underworld, but his demise was near. Aftermath of defeat. Everyone was greatly shocked by Doflamingo's loss to Luffy, including his own crewmates. Doflamingo was vanquished, and Fujitora took him away after arresting him. Jack of the Beast's pirates planned to attack the ship while it was sailing to Impel down, but he was unable to beat all the marine ships by himself and suffered severe injuries as a result. Doflamingo was incarcerated in Impel down as a result of his predetermined fate. Magellan and Doflamingo had an intriguing talk after he was imprisoned. Doflamingo questioned the former warden regarding his assassination attempt by the world government. Doflamingo is a target of the world government since he is aware of the national treasure. The world nobles would be in a terrible situation if knowledge of the secret spread. Doflamingo also questioned Magellan about if he was defending himself from assassins dispatched by the world government. This specific exchange happened during the Levely arc. During the Wano County arc, Doflamingo made an appearance once more in the show, reading a newspaper while giggling. His return. Doflamingo is likely to have a role to play in the future. This is a reasonable thing to think. If he weren't important to the story, the assassins would have killed him already, ending his part in the story. However, the fact that he is still alive means that Doflamingo will be a part of the story. We are still determining how he will change the story, but the world government might fall apart if he told everyone what their national treasure was. Doflamingo has information that could change everything. With his ties to the underworld, Doflamingo could also help him escape prison. The way Magellan treats Doflamingo and why he is protecting the former Shichibukai from the assassins is also a big mystery. Oda has plans for Doflamingo, and Doflamingo could easily cause the world government a lot of trouble. But also, could the newly formed Cross Guild have something to do with Doflamingo breaking out of Impel Down? 3 former Shichibukai created the Cross Guild. It is based on a mercenary company and a criminal organization, and 2 of its 3 leaders have worked in both fields. But the fact that Shichibukai is back together as a group has, as expected, excited many fans. The once powerful group in One Piece, which had been broken up, and the whereabouts of many of its former members are still unknown. However, there is one ex-Shichibukai whose location is mostly known, and many fans and experts think that Doflamingo's secret information is very important to the story of the series. So, fans think it's only a matter of time before Doflamingo leaves the underwater prison Impel Down. With this in mind, Oda may have just given Doflamingo a way to escape jail. Because the Cross Guild has connections in the underworld, they will probably be able to do anything to free Doflamingo and bring him into their group. It could be anything from breaking into the prison to working outside to release an old friend. The most important thing they have in common is that they both used to be Shichibukai, which means they know each other very well. Crocodile and Doflamingo talked about working together during the Marineford War. Even though the first person turned down the second person's idea, things might be different this time. One of the most important reasons why the Cross Guild might want to bring Doflamingo out is because of the name he has. Doffy's name has a lot of weight in both the pirate world and One Piece's shadier black market world. This could help the Cross Guild reach some of their more difficult goals and make them stronger, more powerful, and more numerous as a whole. From a story point of view, there needs to be a clear connection between the secret at Marie-Joie's and the mystery of how Doflamingo knows about it. When his father told him to leave Marie-Joie's, he was still a child, no more than 12 years old. He probably wasn't meant to know much at such a young age, which is why he needs more explanation, which he won't get in Impel Down. If the Cross Guild knows the Marie-Joie's secret and Crocodile knows about Pluton and wants to get it, this could make it a legitimate third-party threat. This would put them on the same power level as the world government and the Revolutionary Army. They might even fight at the end of the series. The most challenging element will be how Doflamingo escapes Impel Down, only the second breakout in the prison's history, the one that Buggy, Crocodile, and Luffy participated in, was successful due to certain unique circumstances. Such circumstances are probably unique. The Cross Guild, on the other hand, can assist Doflamingo in escaping the jail without breaking in. There are surely a lot of Marines willing to help the Cross Guild for their guaranteed safety now that the Marine reward system is fully operational. With this in mind, a series of circumstances might easily result in Doflamingo's release. Well, that's it for today. Is Doflamingo coming to the limelight? Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe to always get updated on the latest stories in One Piece.